And my gratitude also both to you, Amanda, for being such a great introducer and host this evening, and also to all of the fellows this semester from whom I wish to and hope to learn a great deal. Now, my talk is basically concerning a project that's a little bit daunting, which are a series of lectures I'm supposed to be giving just at the tail end of this semester and then going into the summer. These are the 72nd Andrew Mellon lectures in the fine arts at the National Gallery of Art. They're daunting because there is a long tradition of books that almost inevitably come out of these lectures, and they range from ones that people probably don't read anymore, The Nude by Lord Kenneth Clark, Gombrich's Art and Illusion, which is still influential, but then more recently it goes to works by T.J. Clark and Hal Foster and Mary Beard, and most recently Wu Hung of the University of Chicago. My own research is very centrally concerned with the decipherment and interpretation of Maya hieroglyphic writing, a project that I've been engaged with since I was in my teens, and so that was quite a while back. This project is going to be concerning, in turn, or targeting a series of what I would call aporia, a set of paradoxes or seeming contradictions that I'm going to pose in the course of my 6 lectures coming up, each one of which will be a chapter in the subsequent book. This relation of text and image, which you see so beautifully exposed on this panel from the site of La Amelia in northern Guatemala, is going to first address what I would call vital signs. And this is the task of visualizing writing among the Maya, but also confronting the aporia of images that appear to live. And this is something I'll return to later as exploding conventional distinctions between animate objects in the world or beings in the world and representations of them. The second lecture, To Make, See, and Deploy, about configuring Maya text and image, as you see here in a portrait of a Maya queen, surrounded by sculptors' signatures, is going to be dealing with a second contradiction, which is miraculous things that are nonetheless made by humans. As I wind my way through these lectures and through the chapters I hope to be writing this semester, I get to the third, which is Rescaled Reality, Size and Sumptuary Privilege, as exemplified by this carving from the city of Quirigua, made about 1,200 years ago. And here the contradiction is of the way size contests with scale and vice versa, in an endless struggle that is only partly resolved by the Maya. The fourth talk, Sounding Forth, Voices Out of Silence, and this is also an illustration of my subject for this presentation, is a series of echoes, which are depicted here as a set of lines that simply wind their way in a voluptuous fashion in the background of a ball-playing scene. And here is something that many of us will be familiar with in looking at images, which is mute objects, which is what they essentially are, that nonetheless emit sound. Fifth, in the penultimate talk in this lecture series and in the set of chapters I'll be writing, Up, Down, and Around, the Meaning of Movement, we'll be looking at, for instance, this image of returning conquering warriors who are bringing with them a captive who will probably be sacrificed eventually. And this is another sort of contradiction that I think we can all readily understand from looking at images of static things that happen to move, again, almost by miraculous intent. And then finally, I will be addressing the subject of past laughter, of laughter that still echoes through the centuries. And the question for us is, can we understand what they're laughing about? This takes us to the edges of empathy, into things that were thought humorous in the past. But we can pose the question, are they transcendently humorous? Can we continue to understand them in that emotive, gut-wrenching, and amusing way that might have been done about 12 to 1,300 years ago in the Yucatan Peninsula? So finally, I really want to address with this book, as its overarching project, what are the alternative perspectives to understanding this concept of representation, particularly in animistic settings in which these representations not only show something else, they are that something else. And this will be a broader remit that takes me into an exploration of how ultimately we graph, how we make marks that record sound and meaning that in ways that we can understand, hopefully, from this very distant civilization. Thank you.